because there's no threat. So there's no threat anymore. No one's threatening
Okay.
me anymore.
So your hearts have said it was necessary for you to have been a fighter in your childhood and youth. How does that make you feel, Alex?
It's true because
Hmm.
I study evolutionary psychology, and all of our ancestors, they had to fight in just to survive
Hmm.
because our our ancestry, all of us, it was a bloody ancestry. If you read the history books, it seems like one war after another, after sometimes two at the same time, but
Yeah.
never a there was never like safety or peace, or there was always the threat of violence.
Mhm. Okay, so I want you to connect up to your higher self and ask your next question.
What is the next question?
What were you supposed to experience violence in this life? Was it predestined for you to experience violence? So we can say it out loud.
Was it predestined for me to experience violence in this life?
So just want you to listen for the answer when you hear it start speaking.
I saw a bug getting eaten by a bird, and
Okay,
that,
so nature.
yeah, I interpret it as nature, that even the bug has to fight or the bird's gonna eat him. And
Yeah.
it's a universal problem in nature that if you are alive, something else is going to try to eat you, enslave you, rape you, murder you, kill you. That's inherent in the structure of life itself.
Mm.
It's inescapable. There's no life form on Earth that is not vulnerable to another life form eating it or killing it.
So would you like to meet the council who predestined this faith with you? We can go through the doorway if your higher self agrees. Do you want to ask?
We're going to meet the entity that predestined.
Yeah, so before it's been said that before you come into Earth, you go through your life with a council. So they go through all the lessons in your life to make sure that you're able for it and that you've agreed to it. So we could try and meet the council if your higher self allows it. Would you like to meet them? You can ask them questions.
Okay,
Or if you want, or we can do another question.
we can meet them.
Okay, so connect to your higher self. Do you get an agreement to meet them?
Yes, I yourself, I would like to meet the council that preordained my life.
Okay, so walk through the door and tell me where you are.
I see a table and I see chairs of elders and knights sitting at the table.
Hmm. What did they say to you?
I don't hear anything, but their looks, I get the feeling that there's nothing wrong. That I'm not. I get the feeling like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So just ask them, What was the purpose of including violence in my life? What was the life lesson, the experience? Was it for you to experience that kind of life where you grew up as a memory, a universal memory? Was it related to your past life where you were finishing out some karma, or was it just to experience it?
They are telling me that my experiencing violence has made me uh, regard uh, peacefulness as a more precious commodity that's not taken
Mhm.
for granted.
So because you have that contrast, you get a greater, more, you get a better peacefulness.
Yes, like I see a man uh, drowning in water, and then he's climbing out of the water onto the sand, and he's kissing the sand because he's so grateful to have
Mm,
this land to to stand on, and that's how violence is. If you manage to pull yourself out of it, then the peacefulness is much more appreciated.
mm. So it was contrast for you to get a more vivid peacefulness.
Yes, yes,
Is there any other questions? You can open it up. It doesn't have to have violence. You're here in front of the council who you agreed all the lessons in this lifetime in 2020. You can ask them any question. We can open it up. If you want to know any other questions.
yes. I see that some of the council is wizards, and
Hmm.
I would ask for help so that I do not be a bully, and
Hmm.
so that I do not escalate violence unnecessarily. I want to be able to use violence when it's necessary and not hesitate, but never too fast. It's like a gun. You don't want to
Mm.
pull it out unless it's absolutely necessary, and you
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
to shoot unless there's no alternative, but you also don't want to wait too long to pull it out, otherwise, it's too late. And that's the
Mm.
nature of violence. And I feel like 1,000 years ago or 1,000,000 years ago, quick temper of violence was actually
A
it
tool.
was a survival skill because the
Mm.
person who took too long to get violent, he died. In a
Hmm.
conflict, he took too long and they killed him. And so quick temper was actually a benefit. But we are in modern times where
Hmm.
there's social consequences for being quick temper, hot temper, and those consequences can be fatal or at least derail in your entire life. So that's what I asked the council. That's what I asked my higher self to temper my anger with good judgment and always err on the side of peace instead of before err on the side of violence. I want to I want to be a good man without being a wimp, without being a victim.
You're a warrior who's taken a vow of non-violence, and a warrior that will only defend himself.
Right, right. I want to take a vow of violence
Non-violence.
only when absolutely necessary, not
Yeah.
I can't be a victim. That's not who I am. I would never be happy to let, turn the other cheek. I ran out of cheeks a long time ago, and
Yeah.
and uh, if someone struck me on the cheek, I have to strike back. But if someone
Mhm.
threatens to strike me on the cheek, but it doesn't do it, then I have to have good judgment to go, you don't appear to be a real threat. I'm going to walk away. You know, I have to have good judgment. And what interferes with that judgment is a whole bunch of blood rushing to my head and then a whole bunch of hot hormones that, and that right there, that's why I meditate. That's why I take those cold showers because
Mhm.
I need to temper that. It has to be because any of our base natures, we have to control it. Lust is the same. If you don't temper it, it gets out of control. Greed is the same. If you don't push it down, or keep it boundaries, it gets out of control. Well,
Mhm.
the anger and the violence is and you know, I don't know about other parts of the world, but in our part of the world, things are getting tense right now. Okay?
Yeah.
Like people are buying guns a lot more than we already have 300 million guns, but for some reason people need more. But there's tension. And, when I was in prison, I could smell the tension on the yard. I knew that someone's going to get stabbed because look at how tense everyone's acting. Well, I feel that same tension in society right in my area in the world.
Mhm.
I feel the tension. And so, but I want to not contribute to that tension, but I also want to be safe. And that's what the whole purpose of violence is to keep you safe, not to
Mhm.
harm unnecessarily.
So it comes down to your intention. So you only hit if you're being hit, and that's really what it is.
Again,
You only hit out if you're being hit. Do you know?
I don't understand. Oh, right, right.
Like I hit,
I
yeah.
want to be, okay, like a hero. If I say a hero in your mind, perhaps you
Mhm.
think of a brave knight with a sword, right? And
Mhm.
he's, defending something, a castle or his fair maiden. Well, he has a sword for a reason, right?
Mhm.
But if he pulls that sword out and strikes a shopkeeper, he's not a hero, he's a monster.
A monster, yeah,
So
yeah. So it's
I don't want to
your
be the
intention.
monster, I want to be the hero.
No,
I want the sword to be
you're
ready, but I don't want to be a bully. I don't want to be a scoundrel, or I don't want to lose control.
so you're a peaceful warrior with super patience for people who aren't in control of themselves.
I am asking my higher self for a supernaturally good judgment to where I can
Mhm.
see a threat, I identify it as either mortal or trivial, um,
Mhm.
and I act appropriate in the exact level of appropriate. Because in life, you don't get do-overs. You make one mistake,
Mhm.
and someone
Yeah.
could die, or you could die, or
Mhm.
so it has to be exactly right. And I'm not. I have a track record of of going too far, of not restraining that, not, and so
Mhm.
that's where the spiritual practice comes in, is to uh, those
No
emotions
way.
don't want, I want to push those emotions. I don't want them to cloud my judgment.
Yeah, and to know when to be in defense, the exact moment.
Yeah,
It's like, no, I defend now. That's the most evolved
yeah.
instinct.
Do you know who Quiet Shane Kane is?
No, no.
Okay, there was this TV show by David Carradine. It's called Kung Fu, and he
Hmm.
walks through the Old West. He's a Chinaman, right? And he's barefoot, and then he come into the town and he goes, I just want a cup of water. And they go, get out of here, you Chinaman. And they spit on him and push him around. He go, I want no trouble. And they just start beating him. And then, oh no, here it comes. And he just unleash a whole can of whoop ass. And
Oh my God.
yeah, because, yeah, I want to be like that. Like, okay, I want to avoid it at all possible. But then when it's obvious that's gonna, you know, it's time to be violent, then I have to protect myself. That I don't think there's ever going to be a problem with, oh, gee, I don't know. It's possible, and it scares me. It scares me that if I push this down too much, okay, like how about the monks? They push down greed so much that now they have no possessions, or they
Hmm.
push down lust so much that now they have no desire for a woman at all, or they push
Hmm.
down self-defense so much that I remember when the warlords would come into the Buddhist temple and just take anything, and the monks would just basically let them, and
Hmm.
that that don't feel right. It don't. It's not something I ever want to be. That I don't ever want to, because these
So
urges are important for many. You know, self-defense is an important concept that should never be so dull.
mhm. But you have the spirit of a peaceful warrior. So you're not trying to not be the peaceful warrior. You're accepting that you're a peaceful warrior.
Yes, that's what the goal is, the peaceful warrior, where I'm tempered, where it's, you know, yes, peaceful warrior. Yes, that's the goal. That's what I ask my higher self for, to make me a peaceful
Ask your higher
warrior.
self, was your destiny for you to become the peaceful warrior?
It's my destiny to become the peaceful warrior. I see the light and it says yes, yes.
Ask it, have you completed that mission now?
Have I completed that mission? No, I haven't completed it because I'm still alive. But
So it's a lifelong mission.
yeah, it's a lifelong mission.
Okay. Do you want to see what other missions you have in this lifetime that coincide with this?
Yes,
Ask your higher self, what other missions do I have running alongside this fate?
please show me what other missions I have in this life. I see a face of a dog.
Hmm.
I see a face of a dog, and so dogs are important to me. And yeah, um, that's one. What do I have any other missions? I see a face with the third eye open. So
Yeah, spirituality.
yes,
Do you want to explore that and see what it looks like in the future or where you're going with it? You can develop and we can look into any of these timelines if you want. You can look into the dog one, into the third eye one. We can do both.
I just see a big eye.
Okay, so go through the big eye and see where you come out.
Okay, I'm going into the eye. I saw the Egyptian Ankh symbol.
Hmm. Are you a priestess of or a priest of Egypt? High priest?
I saw the Orus the bird.
Yeah.
I saw an owl.
Wisdom?
I see, it looks like an Aztec warrior, but he doesn't look peaceful. He doesn't look,
No.
no, he did not look peaceful. He had a death mask. He had
Okay.
a skeleton mask.
hmm Is he a dead ancestor
He felt like an ancestor.
or?
He did. I'm grateful for that because I don't want that in my future. You know, I'm a very stubborn person, so even if my higher self tells me that my destiny is something that I don't want, you know, I might eh, I might resist. But
Yeah, but that could be it could be a past life.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That might,
it could.
so we can go deeper into that if you want.
I see a pond with beautiful lotus blossoms and lily pads. It looks like a Zen pond.
Mm-hmm.
And I see an ocean and I see a horizon on the ocean far. And the ocean makes me feel peaceful.
hmm So these memories your subconscious is showing you are memories from your soul memory bank, your soul matrix. So we can go into any of them deeper if you want to see what lifetime is. So these might have been a lifetime and you're continuing on the fate or the destiny in this life.
The destiny in this life.
Yeah, so ask yourself, are these my past lives?
Let me focus on my future. I'm focusing on my future. I want to know about my future. I see a many colored light, like a prismatic light, but,
Mm.
but I feel like my future is, there's a part of me that doesn't want to know the future.
Yeah, well then you don't have to know. That's why your subconscious mind is there. Because when you die, you go back to you merge with your subconscious. You know everything. But when you're here on Earth, you're in your conscience for a reason because you are given a selected memory bank collection that will give rise to a certain outcome, like your destiny or your fate. And then when you die, then you merge back your subconscious. You're all powerful. You're all knowing. So if you don't want to know it, that's perfectly fine. That's you saying that you're not supposed to know it because it'll influence your destiny on Earth.
I want,
I can see a pyramid, so
you see a pyramid?
that yeah, so that's showing up for you. So do you want to look into the third eye, go deeper into the Egyptian one and see like why that's so strong in your aura? It came up first.
I love Egypt, and Egypt keeps coming up when I do the past life regressions for the clients.
Mm.
And you know, the last time I did it,